again, and this is homework help for section 6.3. I'll get right down to business here. All right, here we are to perform the indicated operation. We have three different functions given to us at the top. F of x equals negative x to the 1/2, g of x equals 2x minus 1, and h of x equals 2x to the 1/2 plus 4. We are to add f of x and h of x. So in 6.3, all we do is substitution throughout. So f of x, what does f of x equal? It's right up here. F of x equals negative x to the 1/2. So I will just plug that in for f of x, negative x to the 1/2. And then add to that h of x. H of x is 2x to the 1/2 plus 4. 2x to the 1/2 plus 4. All right, then combine like terms. Well, this x has an exponent of 1/2. This x has an exponent of 1/2, so I can combine those. Remember, if I was combining, say, 2x squared plus x minus 3x squared plus 1, and I'd combine like terms here. I couldn't combine this 2x squared and this x. They have different exponents, but I could combine this 2x squared and this minus 3x squared. So 2x squared minus 3x squared gives me negative 1x squared. And then I don't have anything to combine that with. That's just plus x, and then the plus 1's by itself as well. Same thing here. Look for the same exponents and combine like terms. So I have a negative 1x to the 1/2 here, and then 2x to the 1/2 here. Negative 1 plus 2 makes 1x to the 1/2, and then plus 4. Right, so there's my answer right there. All right, here I am to subtract f of x from h of x. H of x is 2x to the 1/2 plus 4. And here I want you to be careful and make sure that when you are subtracting a function, put the other function, the second function that you are subtracting, excuse me, make sure and put it in parentheses. All right, because all of the terms inside the function that you are subtracting, this negative outside needs to be applied to all the different terms. So make sure and put whatever function you have in parentheses. Here in f of x that we are subtracting, we only have one term anyway. So it's good practice. Always put that in parentheses. All right, f of x is negative x to the 1/2. All right, so I got 2x to the 1/2 plus 4 minus a negative x to the 1/2. So minus a negative makes a plus. X to the 1/2. I combine like terms, 2x to the 1/2, and I have one more x to the 1/2 over here. That makes 2 plus 1 is 3x to the 1/2 plus 4. And there's my answer right there. All right, next one I have here. Okay, multiplying functions. F of x times g of x. F of x is listed right up here. It is negative x to the 1/2. And I am multiplying this with g of x, which is 2x minus 1. All right, we want to make sure and follow our order of operations, PEMDAS. Nothing to do inside the parentheses. Let's go to exponents. That exponent relates to that x right there. Nothing to do with the exponents. We can multiply. Looks like we're going to have to distribute this negative x to the 1/2 with all the terms inside the parentheses here. So negative x to the 1/2 times 2x to the 1/2 makes negative 2x. And here we know this rule here. We have same base number, different exponents. This is an exponent of 1. If it's not written, it's an exponent of 1. So we would add these exponents. This would be x to the 1 plus 1/2. And then we subtract negative x squared times a negative 1. So that would make negative times a negative makes a positive x to the 1/2. All right, so let's combine this right here. 1 plus 1/2 would make 3/2. So this is negative 2x to the 3 halves plus x to the 1/2. There's my answer right there. I'll separate that out. All right, let's take a look at this one. H of 16 divided by f of 16. All right, so on top here we have h of 16. Remember that h of 16, that's what we are substituting in for x. So just this x right here is getting substituted, all right, with this 16. And I think it's a good practice to substitute in the 16 and the parentheses when you substitute that in. So we will write the same h function in. And I'm not going to mess with the 2. I'm not going to mess with the 1/2. Not going to mess with the plus 4. But I am going to substitute in this 16. I'm going to put it in parentheses. All right, on the bottom, I'm going to substitute in a 16 for the f function. All right, and so this is, I'm just going to replace just the x on the f function there. I'm going to replace x with the 16 in the parentheses. All right, so here I've got negative x, but I'm going to put 16 to the 1/2. All right, so let's simplify this here. The 1/2 power applies only to this 16 here, so that's 2 times 4. 2 times 4, and then I'll add 4. That's all in the numerator. This 1/2 applies only to this 16, not to the negative there. So that is a negative, and then the square root of 16 is 4, or the 1/2 power of 16 is 4. It's the same thing. All right, so I got 2 times 4 is 8, plus 4 makes 12, and on the bottom I have a negative 4. 12 divided by a negative 4 is negative 3. There's my answer. All right, last one. Okay, same functions, and I need to find g of f of 81. I don't know what g of f of 81 is, but I know I can find out what f of 81 is. Work your way from the inside to out. All right, so I can substitute and find out what f of 81 is. So let's just kind of leave this g on the outside here and find out what f of 81 is. So here's the f function. And remember, I'm just going to replace just this, just the x with this 81 here and the parentheses. All right, so on the f function, I'm just going to replace that 81. So I've got negative 81, that's in place of the x, to the 1/2 power. All right, well, the 1/2 power, that's the same as the square root, or you could plug it in your calculator like this, 81 to the, whoops, 1 divided by 2, or you can put 0.5 power, and hit enter, and it would spit out a 9. Right? So this is 81 to the 1/2 power, or the square root of 81 is 9, of course. So I am looking for g of, this is 9, and then I got to take the negative of it. So I'm looking for g of negative 9. So now I'm going to replace this, whoops, that's not the right function. Here's the function. I'm going to replace this x right here with a negative 9. I am not going to mess with the 2 or the minus 1 there. The 2 and the minus 1. I'm just going to replace the x with the negative 9 and the parentheses. All right, so 2 times negative 9 is negative 18, and I'm going to subtract off another negative 1. So that is negative 19. as my final answer. First, in this problem, I found out what f of 81 was. F of 81 was found to be -9, and then I subsequently I found what g of -9 equals, and that was -19. All right, well, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in class.